Hello everyone, my name is Andrea Wackwitz. I'm a student at Carlow University in their Master's in Early Childhood Education. Under the supervision of Dr. Tammy McMillan, this is my child development case study. A bit of background about Sam. His name is Samuel Stone. He was born August 15th, 2015. He was 21 and a half inches long, 7 pounds, 14 ounces. Parents' names are Anthony and Sarah. He has two brothers named AJ and Matt, and a dog named Moose. So let's discuss infancy between ages 0 and 2 years old. His mother was induced at 39 weeks and 5 days. His birth was what you would call traumatic. According to mom, the midwives made her push before she was ready, and she ended up tearing her cervix and bleeding to death for 6 hours. Sam was diagnosed with possible epilepsy when he was younger. He was sent to one of the local hospitals for MRI testing and the EEG testing a couple times throughout his life, and both continue to come up negative. However, Sam still has the epilepsy symptoms. His fine motor skills developmentally, he was walking, climbing, standing, walking, all at age-appropriate milestones. He has a nystagmus in one of his eyes, which pretty much has him with 3-inch thick glasses. And his pediatric ophthalmologist reported to mom that it could be because of his eyes, his brain was trying so hard to focus on seeing that it did not develop correctly in terms of speech, because he did not speak until age 4. So now we're going to go over his early childhood, which is ages 3 to 5. So at age 4, he began to speak 3 to 4 word sentences. Most of the time he would whine to get his needs met. His siblings would also speak for him many times, which wouldn't encourage him to develop his own sense of speech. He was very shy in school when he first began pre-kindergarten, so much so that the teachers had no idea he even had a voice. He also had issues in pre-K with keeping his hands to himself and developing social, emotional, appropriate relationships with his peers. He was held back in kindergarten due to the fact that he could not read and write. Mom reports that the No Child Left Behind law was proving some difficulty with her holding the child back, because she had to sign a bunch of forms and meet with the superintendent before she was even allowed to hold her child back in kindergarten. Mom reported the reason for the retainment into kindergarten was due to the fact that the child could not read, the child could not write, and could not even recognize his name across paper. So now let's go to middle childhood, ages 6 to 8. Sam began first grade on normal level target. Repeating kindergarten actually proved to be well for him, as it brought him to where he needed to be. He now has a passion with writing stories and drawing. He was also recently diagnosed with ADHD, ODD, and anxiety, of which he is on medication for now because he had such a hard time in school being able to sit still. Sam also has a very prominent stutter, and it gets worse as his anxiety gets worse. If he is really excited about something, the stutter is absolutely ridiculous. It's very there, and unfortunately, the school does not want to do anything for him. So while we were observing Sam, we also worked on some speech exercises to try to help him calm down emotionally when he does begin to stutter. Sam is also very creative. He loves drawing, and he has recently developed a very new passion for cooking with his mother. As you can see here in the picture, this is not Sam and his mom. It's just the clip art that I thought was interesting. And it really depicts how Sam is in the kitchen. Influential factors that contribute to Sam's behavior. We could describe them as the lack of interactions with children his own age. Sam spends most of his time at home if he's not at school with his brothers. Both parents suffer from parental mental health disorders. Mother reports bipolar, borderline personality, depression, anxiety, and PTSD. Father is frequently gone due to work. Lack of cultural difference or influence, rather. Mom is from a very Italian family and was disowned when she became pregnant at age 17. And when we spoke about maybe including some of her, just things of her culture, she was very upset that it was even suggested and wants nothing to do with quote unquote her family's nonsense. Sam also suffers from emotional outbursts when he feels his needs are not being met or he is not being heard, which also affects his behavior at school and around his peers. Application of theories and concepts when I was observing Sam. So one of the major things when we think about Pagot's theory, it was very much absolutely in full effect. Before anybody could interact with Sam as an infant, he had to become used to your presence. He had to get a good grasp of who you were, or he remained very shy into his toddlerhood and even continued into early school age. If we were to apply Erikson's theory of psychosocial development, when Sam was younger, he would often lose his self-confidence and would constantly doubt himself, and even apologize for simple mistakes that were complete accidents. He was always trying to please the adults in his life and would often seclude himself in his room with his toys when he was just too distraught. When working with Sam, we focused a lot on building his self-esteem, and I made sure to include his mom in these activities as well. Mom's mental health plays a huge factor in how Sam interacts with other adults in his life. He can be somewhat withdrawn with fears of getting in trouble. He is always very eager to please and has drawn a new picture for me every time that I visit. We have been working on letting Sam know that he is important, he matters, and is a good kid. I feel in order to combat the school age stage of Erikson's theory, these activities are one of the best ways that we can help both Mom and Sam. Mom also reports that she has been struggling for years with her mental health. She is in therapy and counseling and is even medicated now, but sometimes she even struggles with her bipolar outbursts, and she has never really thought about it or realized how much it affected her children until we sat down as a group and we spoke about it. Sam has expressed concerns to his mom about feeling inadequate in comparison to his brothers, and he feels that no matter what he does, it makes his mom sad and angry at him. Even at 8 years old, he is still showing the signs from Erikson's preschool age stage, which follows the theory in itself that each stage is simply a building block, and these stages may overlap and extend into further stages of life. Sam is a very good example of this. I feel that sometimes as parents, we often forget how much our mood and behaviors affect our children. A lot of Sam's issues have to deal with the environment that he has at home, unfortunately. Without blaming anybody, of course, but these are major impacts to his self-esteem and his behaviors. In order to help Sam, we need to bring Mom and Dad onto the same page. As an educator, I can do what I can to encourage Sam, but I don't feel like his self-esteem is going to become better until his mom and dad also do their part to help change the behaviors. When Sam is at school, he is very eager to please and is very happy. But when he is at home, he is sad and simply just wants his parents' love and affection. So now we're going to move on to our conclusion of our study here. So we went over, excuse me, as a group, my observations to an extent, of course. I explained to both parents how everyone around Sam has the potential to affect his behaviors and his moods. Children naturally want to please, and a lot of his behaviors stem from things that are happening in the home. I explained to Dad that Sam has some things that he needs to say to his father. Sam broke down and told his dad that him being gone just doesn't make him sad. It also makes his mommy sad. And hearing this was shocking to Dad, but I think it was definitely a conversation that needed to be had. When Dad responded, he had amazing news for the whole family, though. He had just spoken to a man out of town where he is working, and their long distance situation was going to be no more. The family would be moving with Dad out of town as soon as they received the keys to the new house. This was a couple of weeks ago, of course. And since then, I have spoken with Mom and Sam on the phone through video chat, and Sam is doing so much better from a social emotional perspective, as well as his withdrawn behaviors. Mom has implemented the family's nightly routines, and she has changed up the family's nightly routines and now implemented different activities that they can do together at night. Everyone has been sitting down and eating meals together, and they have family game nights and movie nights. The kids are so much happier having both of their parents there consistently. Sam feels that his voice is finally being heard and is just a completely different child. I am so happy for the time that I have gotten to spend with him, not just as somebody who has been in his life for years, but now as an educator being able to help their family. They were so happy that I was able to help, and I was able to lend a listening ear and offer what knowledge I have from this course, as well as many others. So if we were to go over my recommendations again, of course, one of the things I recommended to them was the family game night and the family movie night. And just something small for them to do together as a family to help encourage them to spend time together. I also suggested different activities outside. That way we're getting into the sunshine, we're stretching our legs, we're calming down, just feeling the energy itself from the sunshine. All the children's grades have drastically improved since their big move, and both parents are reporting not only changes in all the children's moods, but also their own as parents. Mom has begun expanding their game collection to include somewhat educational games aimed at Sam's age level. And one of the games I thought was really interesting and adorable, it's a game called Money Bags. And it's much like Monopoly, but it's aimed for like 3rd to 4th grade math with counting money and Monopoly and things of that nature. I also suggested, something as simple as going to the zoo or the beach, even going for a drive around the block a couple times, maybe even a walk. Just something that you're doing outside to just spend time with your children and talk to them about simple things that might be going on in their lives. Mom reports that since she has done these things that I've recommended, her family has just become amazing. And I absolutely love the fact that I was able to help them in ways I never even realized that I could be a beneficial factor for them. So this case study not only was fun for me, but it also helped boost my self-confidence in myself, because I'm forever doubting myself, and just knowing that I was able to help somebody else, it's just truly amazing. So I thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and have a good night.